All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever wondered what gives someone that presence, that unspoken authority that just makes you want to listen to them? Well, today we're going to crack open the Behavior Ops Manual to get into the hidden psychology of it all. Turns out it's not magic, it's straight up science.
Seriously, think about it. You walk into a room, any room, maybe it's a meeting, maybe there's a crisis, and somehow, within seconds, your brain has already pointed out that's the leader. How on earth does it do that? What are the invisible signals it's picking up on? And here's the first clue, and it's a wild one. Following a leader, it isn't really a conscious choice you're making. Nope, it's more like an ancient survival program that's always running in the background. I mean, for our tribal ancestors, following the leader wasn't about being nice, it was about staying alive. If you didn't, you could get kicked out of the tribe, or way worse.
Now, what's truly mind-blowing is that the basic hardware of our brain, the part running this whole authority-seeking program, it hasn't really had a major update in about 180,000 years. So here we are, walking around with the same tribal instincts in our modern world of skyscrapers and social media. We're running on Stone Age software in a digital world.
This all ties into a concept called social coherence. And the best way to think about it is this. Imagine a room full of pianos. If you walk up to one and you firmly strike a C key, the C string on every other piano in that room will start to vibrate too. Well, we humans work the exact same way. If you project confidence, the people around you start to resonate with that same feeling, usually without even realizing it. Your internal state is literally contagious.
Okay, so we get why we're wired to look for a leader. Survival. Makes sense. But how does our brain actually pinpoint one in a crowd? What's on its internal checklist? The manual calls them authority tripwires, and I think that's the perfect name for them. Just think of these as 5 specific triggers that your unconscious mind is constantly scanning for. When someone comes along and hits these tripwires, your brain immediately flags them as a potential leader, and that old obedience program starts to boot up.
And here they are. The 5 steps scan your brain is running all the time. First, it looks at movement. Is it purposeful and direct, or is it hesitant and jerky? Then, appearance. This is everything from hygiene and clothing to posture. Third, it's sizing up confidence, which, just leaks out of everything someone says and does. Fourth is connection. Does this person actually give you their undivided attention? And finally, all of this stuff gets synthesized into an internal feeling. It's our gut telling us if this person is the real deal. This story from the book just illustrates it perfectly. So you've got this crowd, and they all have a script in their head. Ignore the guy. But then, this person in a suit totally breaks that script. His movement is purposeful. His appearance signals some kind of status. His actions are screaming confidence. In less than 10 seconds, he's tripped all the wires, and suddenly, the entire crowd is looking to him, ready to follow his lead. It's that fast. But here is the catch. And honestly, it's a huge one. You can't just fake this stuff. If your internal world is a complete mess, you're stressed, disorganized, anxious, it is going to leak out through your nonverbal signals. Your unconscious mind just can't lie. Real, true authority has to be built from the inside out. And this is where that groundwork really gets laid, in the 5 mastery zones. The manual argues that real authority starts with getting mastery over your own life. We're talking about your physical environment, your control over your time, your personal appearance, your social connections, and your financial situation. When you get control over these areas, you create this internal order, and that's where genuine authority can actually start to grow from. Okay, so once you've started to build that foundation, how do you actively build that authoritative presence? Well, this brings us to the real meat of the manual, the 5 specific traits you need to be cultivating. So let's start with the big one, confidence. And probably the most important thing to get your head around is this reframe right here. It is not something you're just born with. It is a skill you develop, a muscle that you train through repetition and control. And that's great news because it means it's attainable for absolutely anyone. We all recognize the signs of low confidence, right? It's that constant need to get reassurance from other people, or always saying sorry, or being terrified of failure. The very first step to building the skill of confidence is just spotting these patterns in ourselves. Next up is discipline. And I love how the manual talks about this. It's like you have to play 2 different roles for yourself. On one hand, you gotta be your own butler, thoughtfully setting up your future self for success. But on the other hand, you also have to be your own disciplinarian, the one who vetoes those lazy impulses right here in the present moment.
But here's the secret weapon. You don't need superhuman discipline forever. The key insight is this. You only need enough discipline to forge a habit. That's it. Once the behavior becomes automatic, like just going to the gym without thinking about it, it doesn't require a constant battle of wills anymore. That initial push is absolutely everything. The third trait is gratitude, but with a little twist. It's the difference between what the book calls low altitude and high altitude gratitude. So low altitude is being thankful for the taco in your hand. Cool. But high altitude is zooming way out and being thankful for the farmer, the truck driver, the entire vast system that brought that taco to you. That perspective shift it's profound. And listen, this isn't just some feel-good philosophy. Practicing gratitude physically rewires your brain. I'm serious. It boosts the happiness chemicals, dopamine and serotonin, it improves your sleep, and it actually reduces stress hormones. It is a genuine biohack for creating a more authoritative internal state. Which brings us to leadership. And man, this quote from Cesar Millan just hits so hard. In the entire animal kingdom, stability is the absolute core of leadership. An unstable, erratic leader is a danger to the whole pack. But we humans, we seem to have forgotten this. True authority isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being calm, stable, and assertive. And finally, the fifth trait is enjoyment. Just think about it for a second. We are naturally drawn to people who are genuinely enjoying themselves and their lives. That magnetic quality we call charisma, the manual argues it's not something you put on. It's simply a byproduct of a deep internal state of enjoyment. So we've covered the mastery zones, we've covered the 5 traits, but if there was just one core idea, one technique that really ties it all together and creates the most impact, what would it be? This is it. This is the ultimate takeaway. Confidence isn't really about what other people think of you. It's about having a stellar reputation with yourself. It's about proving to yourself over and over again that you're the kind of person who honors your commitments and gets things done. So how do you start building that reputation like today? Well, first, act as your own butler. Make choices that your future self is going to thank you for. Second, count your wins. A simple to-do list gives your brain actual concrete proof that you are competent. And third, you have to stop the comparison game. Focus on your own journey, not somebody else's highlight reel. So I'll leave you with this final thought. This isn't about projecting some image or faking it till you make it. It's all about the small promises you keep to yourself, day in and day out. So the question is, what's one small thing you're going to do today to build a better reputation with yourself?